Bungie has been hit with big layoffs. Xbox hardware sales decline, but they also announced a beautiful new translucent blue controller that might turn everything around for Xbox. Wow. Andy Cortez. We'll have all this and more because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. What's up and welcome back to Kind of Funny Games Daily for Wednesday, July 31st, the final day of July 2024. Of course, I am Tim Geddes. I'm joined by the Nitro Rifle, Andy Cortez.
It seems like it was only yesterday, Tim, that we were hit by a round of Bungie layoffs.
Yeah, it really
October
does.
2023.
Yeah, man. And here we are.
Yeah.
Many, many more. Many, many more. We, of course, will get into all of that. Very lengthy statements put out. Multiple lengthy statements. We're going to go through them because I think it's very important to hear the words that are being talked about here for hundreds of people being laid off in this industry right after a very successful launch of the final shape. Horrible stuff, everybody. But besides all that, before we get into that, how are you doing, Andy?
I'm doing fantastic, Tim. I happened to sort of open my Google News app today, scrolled over to the left. Google News will kind of just show you. You scroll to the left from your home screen, it's just like, here's a bunch of articles that you may or may not be interested in.
Type thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's mainly like just, here's a thing from Engadget, here's a thing from The Verge, just new OLED monitors on sale, big expansion from whatever game's back or whatever. And the first thing I see is an article from IMDb. And it's a picture, it's a screenshot of Bloodborne, and the title is, in quotes, I could literally cry right now. Bloodborne hits PC as fans take the decision out of Sony and Hidetaka Miyazaki's control. And I clicked into this IMDb article, and then it gives me a little like blurb, and it says, read more at fandomwire.com. So I go to fandomwire.com, and I scroll down, fans are ecstatic about this Bloodborne PC thing, and I get to the very bottom, and it's my tweets showing off Bloodborne running on PS5. In 60 frames per second.
One fan has said that they could cry out of sheer joy after seeing the video and has credited Lance McDonald for doing such tremendous work. That fan is Andy.
Yeah.
Fandy.
I never once ever said this was on PC. It's just video of me playing it on my PS5. And so, just do better out there, journalists. Do better.
This is just wild.
It's a weird article that's just full of. It was written for the SEO, obviously, as a lot of these articles are.
Or was it just AI'd? There's something about this that's just like truly bizarre.
So the
broken even.
I don't disagree with you. Part of me thinks that as well as I'm looking at the articles on Fandom Wire, but it has that little subheader that says "Awaken Good Hunter." I'm like, I don't know if an AI would know to like put that's usually like a very human thing to do, like when. Timur Hussein has a cool-ass written article on a video game, and the subheader is always like a very cleverly written pun. Like Simon Carty does that a lot as well. Maybe, but I mean, I guess this wasn't even a pun. It was just a quote from the game.
Here's the person written. There's a written by. That person's name goes to a link, and that is a person who works for the website, and it was reviewed also by another person. So again, I don't know what their...
Wild.
What
the number one
is, but
there was a lot of
journalist has become the game's journalism.
You're right.
You are it.
I would like to maybe teach a class on this because I remember at one point Sports Illustrated had a bunch of people also there that were all AI created, and that caused a big controversy where it's like you'd go to who this article was written by, and it's just an AI image of a dude with a fake name or whatever, and that was real. That happened around last year. But I see these a lot whenever you go to the Google News section. A lot, it's like 75% actual good stuff that I want to be reading. And then the rest of it will be new Bloodborne game comes out. Fans excited. And you click into it. It's the Bloodborne board game.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I thought that was just kind of interesting. Because it just seemed like very little research was done on this to write that out.
Research about your tweets.
For research, you just got to kind of like read the tweets. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I do love that like there was a full article there with a lot of terms, a lot of Bloodborne stuff. And then once it gets to you, it just kind of pads out the article a bit of just every reply tweet and just explaining what the reply tweets to your tweet said.
Smart.
It's like, all right, there's a lot of hit stuff here.
Respect the game, you know?
Oh, man. Greg Miller, do you have something to say? You hear about this? Andy Cortez has become the number one games journalism.
Yeah.
Journalists are covering him now. It's crazy.
Here he is. Look at him. Look at him. I love this camera.
So sick.
I swear I'm going to race across this camera so fast you won't even be able to see me.
I'm proud of you, Andy, out there getting headlines.
Thank you, Greg.
We're going to talk about tomorrow on GamesCast. Very stoked about that. Instead, what I want to do is come in and give both of you a compliment, all right? Because, of course, I was down with the sickness on Monday.
Of course.
Which means I'm behind on my podcast. I'm listening to the current Kind of Funny podcast. Fantastic work. Just
Thank
a
you.
great episode.
Great episode.
But what I need to give you an award for is not standing up and punching Nick in the face as hard as you fucking could when you are trying to decide who should replace William Hurt as General Ross. And Nick Scarpino goes, J.K. Simmons. And you go, haha, good one. And he goes, wait, has he been in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? I wanted to just fucking flip my car. Like, I was mad that I knew Nick in that moment. Where it sounded like Nick said the best joke of all time. J.K. Simmons. Oh, wait, is he? And you go, yeah.
It took him a while.
Oh, it's bad. Because he said it, and I'm like listening. So he says it, and then you guys move on, and then he does it again, and you go, yeah. And then Nick just goes, wait, is he already in it?
There was a while.
Fucking
I'm
hell.
glad that he realized it on his own, though.
Yeah.
That
is good. That is growth.
That's
Bad.
a sign of good things, you know.
Yeah.
Great episode, by the way.
Yeah, I loved it. Everybody should check out KF Podcast, where we break down all of our thoughts on the Comic-Con Marvel news. You can check it out now on YouTube and all the podcast places, just like you can do for this show. Kind of Funny Games Daily, where each and every weekday we run you through all of the video game news that you need to know about live on YouTube, Twitch, and then podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, support us with the Kind of Funny membership on Patreon or YouTube to get all of our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and you get a daily exclusive show. For a chance to be part of the show, you can submit your thoughts and opinions as YouTube Super Chats as we go. We are an 11-person business all about live talk shows. Today, after Games Daily, you're going to get a GamesCast sequel, follow-up to our episode where we ranked game consoles by looks. Today we're doing ranking handhelds based on their looks.
It's finally happening.
Are things going to get spicy? I think that they will. They already got spicy on the last one. You know, some people had horrible takes about the Sega Genesis. You know?
Man, that RoboCop looking fucking toy you'd buy at Target.
So cool.
It's so cool.
It's so awful
cool.
looking.
The stream after that will be Greg playing Fallout London. And if you are a Kind of Funny member, of course, you get today's Gregway. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs and Delaney Twining. Today we're brought to you by Shady Rays, Hymns, and the Portillo merch line, which is almost over. So if you guys want to get some Portillo merch, if I understand correctly, y'all should get on it very, very soon. But for now, let's begin with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 6 stories today.
A baker's dozen.
Getting into it with story number 1, like we were saying at the top of the show, Bungie is laying off 220 people. This comes from Pete Parsons, the CEO of Bungie. They put up a social media post, one of the classic ones, you know, the big rectangle square image, just a lot of text on it. Headlined, The New Path for Bungie. I'm going to read all of it, like I said, because I think it's very important here. This morning, I'm sharing with all of you some of the most difficult changes we've ever had to make as a studio. Due to rising costs of development and industry shifts, as well as enduring economic conditions, it's become clear that we need to make substantial changes to our cost structure and focus development efforts entirely on Destiny and Marathon. That means beginning today, 220 of our roles will be eliminated, representing roughly 17% of our studio's workforce. These actions will affect every level of the company, including most of our executive and senior leader roles. Today's a difficult and painful day, especially for our departing colleagues, all of which have made important and valuable contributions to Bungie. Our goal is to support them with the utmost care and respect. For everyone affected by this job reduction, we will be offering a generous exit package, including severance, bonus, and health coverage. I realize all of this is hard news, especially following the success we have seen with the final shape. But as we've navigated the broader economic realities over the last year, and after exhausting all of their mitigation options, this has become a necessary decision to refocus our studio and our business with more realistic goals and viable financials. We're committing to 2 other major changes today that we believe will support our focus, leverage Sony's strengths, and create new opportunities for Bungie talent. First, we're deepening our integration with Sony Interactive Entertainment, working to integrate 155 of our roles, roughly 12%, into SIE over the next few quarters. SIE has worked tirelessly with us to identify roles for as many of our people as possible, enabling us together to save a great deal of talent that would have otherwise been affected by the reduction in force. Second, we're working with PlayStation Studios leadership to spin out one of our incubation projects, an action game set in a brand new science fantasy universe, to form a new studio within PlayStation Studios to continue its promising development. This will be a time of tremendous change for our studio. So that was the social media post. We'll then go on to read a bit more of the let's unpack how we got here statement that they put out. But Andy, tossing to you. What are your gut thoughts on this?
It kind of just seems like you should just hire a lot of contract workers if you don't feel like you're going to be able to keep them around for very long. Like, this just seems like another really badly misguided overestimation of what you need to create these projects. And the biggest punishment they'll get is maybe some flack on Twitter. Oh, no, wait, he made his profile private, so he won't be getting flack. Like, I don't know, man. It's just... leadership needs to really look within and understand that they just keep on losing trust in situations like this. And it's just really, really sad.
It's really, I mean, dude, like, this is one of those stories that all these layoff stories that we cover are always sad. They're always unfortunate. They're always very aggravating to have to cover, to see an industry that we love fall apart and seemingly step on every rake possible, and continue running forward instead of slowing down and maybe just stepping on the rakes a little slower. They're still going to hit you, but it's like, let's brace for it a little bit, as opposed to just kind of like running into every obstacle possible.
330 layoffs since October of last year, because it was 100 in October of last year, 220 today.
Yeah,
that's wild.
I mean, and on top of that, it's like what they're saying here is it sounds like an additional 12% are going to move over to SIE. So it's like there's a lot of changes happening that, you know, I'm sure are necessary. I'm sure that there's a lot of redundancies and there's a lot of mismanaged team sizes and everything because of how many acquisitions have happened and how much shifting and changing has happened across all of PlayStation Studios, and more than that, just the entire industry at large. But what gets extra complicated about this is the fact that the final shape just came out and was such a hit. Like, we keep seeing these stories of like wins being followed up with these type of news stories. And
that's usually all of the parody that I write on the Wii News section behind it. It's always huge success, that studio gets shuttered. And yeah, you're absolutely right. It always seems to kind of just follow that, because maybe that win just wasn't enough on the bottom line. And that it's a business, that makes sense. But when are they going to learn to be prepared better for these situations?
Yeah. And so Chun2D2 says, which is a great name, the entire premise of them being acquired was maintaining autonomy, though. They were a Sony team, not a PlayStation team. And yeah, I think that a lot of that has to do with this too, of Bungie being a very uniquely positioned studio compared to anybody, honestly, with how big they were, them being part of Activision, leaving Activision to be part of Sony, but not PlayStation, but help PlayStation Studios build out the live service infrastructure that in many ways they pioneered, to be able to take what they've learned and apply it to The Last of Us factions or online or whatever it's going to be, to Helldivers, to like all the upcoming games that we're talking about, like Concord, things like that. And to be here now and seeing all this shake out this way, it's troubling. It's unfortunate. It feels very misguided and like it didn't need to happen, but bets were made. And everything I just mentioned there, like Last of Us doesn't exist anymore. Last of Us Online. So are there shifts happening? Like, is there an internal, like, oh, we got to right the ship? And is what's happening here the first moves of that? Not first moves, but I mean, I feel like with Bungie, what's happening right now, like this news story and all of the extra stuff of them spinning out this incubation project to a new studio that's not going to be Bungie, this is all really telling and really interesting about what is the future of Bungie. What, like, if Marathon doesn't hit, which, like, we know so little about Marathon at this point, but it's not like what we do know gives people the utmost faith that it's going to be a PlayStation Studios mega hit.
Right. I think my initial thoughts with Marathon right now at this point in time is it feels like something to get them to the next Destiny. And of course, they're going to want to put a lot of work into it. It's not going to be just this throwaway product. It's not going to feel like Bleeding Edge when they were they were getting ready for Hellblade 2. You know, it doesn't feel like one of those projects. It feels like pretty big, and you keep hearing murmurs from people around the industry saying, "Oh, I got to test it today," and not even murmurs. People just straight up tweeting out, "I got to test out Marathon today under NDA and all that stuff." I kind of hope that this is all them prepping for what Destiny 3 is going to be and what it could be. Whether that changes in scope, that seems like it's a definite possibility. I hope that these are all like lessons learned that will help prevent this in the future. It just seems like I keep on hoping that for several years.
Yeah, so I'm going to get in now to the rest of the statement. And again, this is a longer statement, but I want to read it because it's them trying to explain what happened, what went wrong. Let's unpack how we ended up in this position. It's important to understand how we got here. For over 5 years, it's been our goal to ship games in 3 enduring global franchises. To realize that ambition, we set up several incubation projects, each seeded with senior development leaders from our existing teams. We eventually realized that this model stretched our talent too thin too quickly. It also forced our studio support structures to scale to a larger level than we could realistically support given our 2 primary products in development, Destiny and Marathon. Additionally, in 2023, our rapid expansion ran headlong into a broad economic slowdown, a sharp downturn in the games industry, our quality miss with Destiny 2 Lightfall, and the need to give both the Final Shape and Marathon the time needed to ensure both projects deliver at the quality our players expect and deserve. We were overly ambitious, our financial safety margins were subsequently exceeded, and we began running in the red. After this new trajectory became clear, we knew we had to change our course and speed, and we did everything we could to avoid today's outcome. Even with exhaustive efforts undertaken across our leadership and product teams to resolve our financial challenges, these steps simply weren't enough. As a result, today we must say goodbye to incredible talent, colleagues, and friends. This will be a challenging time at Bungie, and we'll need to help our team navigate these changes in the weeks and months ahead. This will be a hard week, and we know that our team will need time to process, to ask questions, and to absorb this news. Today and over the next several weeks, we will host team meetings and town halls, team breakout sessions, and private individual sessions to ensure we are keeping our communication open and transparent. Bungie will continue to make great games. We still have over 850 team members. God damn. Building Destiny and Marathon, and we will continue to build amazing experiences that exceed our players' expectations. There'll be a time to talk about our goals and projects, but today is not that day. Today, our focus is on supporting our people. Barrett, you brought this up.
Yeah, Pete Parsons is known to be a huge car enjoyer. And it's just like another little detail here of just Bungie lays off 17% of its workforce. Unrelated, here's a list of cars the CEO has purchased on BAT. And it's like this response here just like kind of shows off like just a teaser of just like the level of cars that he is purchasing. And again, it's just like the major disconnect with, I feel like, how CEOs get treated and how the workforce actually gets treated in times like these. And it's just endlessly frustrating.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, so it's, man, you know, again, I feel like the statement there is very accurate. It's saying things that happened. It's saying why we're here, but why'd we get there? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's, you shouldn't, if you're getting into the red, there needs to be a moment of like, we got to figure this out. And like, it does feel it feels shitty that clearly they knew this. And then it's like, well, we got to get the Final Shape out. And then once the Final Shape's out, it's like, well, now we just cut y'all. And it's like, I bet that the people working on it didn't think that that was the outcome. At the same time, I'm sure a lot of them saw it coming because the world fucking sucks.
Right. Yeah. And that's why I initially brought up, why not just hire a bunch of contract workers if you're going to treat them this way, where, you know, they're just going to be laid off and you don't really deal with repercussions aside from, you know, dealing with internet flack, right? Like that's really all you're going to get when you treat human beings just like assets and just like cogs in a machine that you're going to put to work, and then once their work is done, and you're likely going to overwork them in some cases, what we've heard about in a lot of our industry, and then once they're done, okay, cool, that project's done. Hey, sorry, we got to lay you off. Just do contracts then. This situation would be so much. Now, people would be way less willing to work with you, and now it totally just makes sense. Like, why would we do contracts? We could just lie to people and say hey, we believe in your future here. I can't imagine the amount of people in the last year that had meetings with them that were told, we value you here. here's a pay raise. I'm seeing a lot of like random people on Twitter being like, hey, I just got a pay raise 2 months ago, got laid off today. And it's just another song for another day. Like we just keep on hearing this story over and over again.
Yeah.
Irresponsibility up top. And,
Totally.
And no repercussions.
No repercussions is like such a important thing to talk about. And it's just so shitty that we don't have much to say besides there should be and there aren't.
Yeah. The bad decisions made by them will never directly affect them.
I saw an interesting tweet back and forth. Paul Tassie's Barrett, if you could bring this up here. Paul Tassi just says, sorry, what? With the screenshot of a conversation from Jeff Grubb here, saying, somebody tweeted at Grubb saying, have you heard anything on this? And then Grubb says, Herman Hulst runs Bungie now. Also, they attempted to soften the blow by sending many people from Bungie into SIE instead of just cutting them. I thought the number of jobs lost was going to be closer to 350. So yeah, there's a lot of shuffling going on here. And again, it's very interesting to think about the Bungie being independent, not being part of PlayStation Studios, but it sounds like that might have all changed now. And it sounds like there might be an integration here that is going to really majorly shift up how the teams there work. They're talking about, like, they're officially said they're spinning off and creating a new team for under PlayStation Studios for some new project we haven't even heard about before.
What was the reading on that? What was the employee count on that? Was it 50 or something?
It didn't say.
Okay.
It didn't say. Yeah. It just said, hold on, let me go back and see exactly. We're working with PlayStation Studios leadership to spin out one of our incubation projects, an action game set in a brand new science fantasy universe to form a new studio within PlayStation Studios to continue its promising development. So
tragic. Yeah.
Well,
heard this one way too many times.
Yep. Let's move on to story number 2. Activision continues to boost Xbox revenues, but hardware sees further decline. This comes from James Batchelor at gamesindustry.biz. Microsoft's results for the final quarter of its financial year are in, showing continued growth in overall gaming revenue, while Xbox console sales once again decline. The acquisition of Activision Blizzard was cited as a key factor in the growth recorded, with revenue from Call of Duty and the publisher's other properties now converted from third-party to first-party. The growth of Xbox contributed to a solid year for Microsoft overall, with total revenue from all of its businesses rising 15% year-on-year to nearly $65 billion. Xbox content and services revenue saw the biggest growth within Microsoft's more personal computing division, up 61% compared to the same quarter last year. This is expected to see growth in the low to mid-50s in the next quarter, again, thanks to the Activision acquisition. In fact, the Activision acquisition drove gaming's growth far beyond any other more personal computing segment, with the next largest growth being the 19% for search and news advertising. Total revenue for more personal computing was up 14% year on year to $15.9 billion. We're talking about some big old numbers, Andy. Xbox hardware revenue declined 42% year on year. Microsoft's chief financial officer, Amy Hood, told investors during the earnings call that this is expected to decline again in the next quarter, 3 months ended September 30th, 2024. Hood also added that first-party games content saw a stronger than expected performance, although this was partially offset by the performance of third-party content. And again, Activision games are no longer third-party. Elsewhere in the earnings call, CEO Satya Nadella said Xbox has 500 million monthly active users across all platforms and devices, and that the platform holder's upcoming release slate has never been stronger following its June showcase. Xbox has had only one new software during the last quarter, Ninja Theory's Hellblade 2: Senua's Saga, but Nadella highlighted successes in other fields such as the Fallout TV show, which stands as the second most watched Amazon Prime Video series of all time, and boosted the number of hours played for Fallout titles on Game Pass 5-fold.
Numbers are up everywhere, well, except for hardware sales.
Except hardware, which makes sense. I mean, obviously that, to us on this show, the headline of this, right, of cool, Xbox hardware down. Is that surprising, or is that just an obvious way with the strategy that Xbox has had?
I think it's pretty obvious. I'm not super surprised by it. I think the number 42 is a lot lower than is a lot higher than I thought it'd be. We know that their hardware has been on the decline, but that's a pretty big jump. And I guess we are many years removed from the release of that console. I just don't know what the next few years with whatever hardware offerings are looking to have in the future. How does that maybe offset those issues, or just all, hey, we got Fallout on Prime now. Like, I love that being the sort of cherry on top of like, yeah, look, Hellblade 2 did really, really bad, and a lot of people thought it was like just a decent video game, but we got Fallout on Prime. And that just kind of shows you the state of where I think Xbox is at right now, and why I hope that in the next several years we start to see those jumps in the software, not only sales, but reception.
Yeah, so there's a lot there to unpack, because I feel like them bringing up the Fallout thing, while funny, because it's like, oh, that's all you got is an Amazon Prime show. I mean, it boosted the numbers of hours played 5-fold of Fallout software. I think that is incredibly valuable. And tying that with the 500 million monthly active users, this shows the Xbox strategy that they're going for is working. Is it working to an end that's going to bring in the amount of money necessary to have the Xbox division be what Microsoft is looking for? That's a different question. But I don't think that this hardware sales decline, even the 42%, which you're right, is a big drop.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's doom and gloom type conversation. I think that that's just very much the strategy Xbox has had. Xbox hardware specifically has not had much of market penetration like outside of America. I don't know about Europe, actually. I might be speaking out of turn there, but obviously in a lot of the Asian markets, it's never been the most popular console. So those are just some reasons. But then on top of that, Xbox's focus on Play Anywhere, on PC, on cloud, them partnering with Samsung, them putting out the little Amazon Fire Stick device, like that is clearly where Xbox is trying to push and go.
It's a natural trajectory, kind of, yeah.
And I feel like there's the 500 million monthly active users with a raised price on Game Pass for the subscription. That's their focus, obviously. And then them talking about the slate's never been stronger following its June showcase. That is a fact at this point. Like when we look at the amount of games coming out, and sure, that's cheating a little bit because of the acquisition of Activision Blizzard.
Right.
But, I mean, how many times in this article did it even say, due to the acquisition, these numbers are up? And like these numbers that used to be third party are now first party, which means 100% of the profit goes to them as opposed to some level of split, some level of licensing, some level of partnership or whatever that looks like. So it's going to be very fascinating to see what happens after, I'm going to say it, y'all, the first round of dominoes falls.
Let's see the dominoes falling emotes.
You know?
We can't see them on, we got the different chat.
But like, it's happening at this point where because of this Xbox showcase, we're going to start getting the cadence of releases. Now, to your question earlier, are we going to get things that surpass Hellblade in terms of massive public reception of they got the hits, you know, and then they got the follow-up to the hits? That's, I don't know. I don't know. I'm hopeful.
We thought Hellblade 2 would have been that.
We were very much hoping it would. But even then, Hellblade 2 being the big game of the year so far for Xbox, granted, it's July. We have a lot of releases left. There's Avowed, right? There's Indiana Jones. There's one other one. Forget what it is. There's a big Xbox game coming.
Big Xbox game coming, everybody. We're looking at chat for you.
Yeah, chat. Let me know what's going on.
Kindoffunny.com says you're wrong, or SuperChats.
But then, of course, there's things like Flight Simulator, but I'm pretty sure there was one other one. But there's Call of Duty, right? Anyways, moving on to next year, like, and beyond, it really does seem like there's going to be a lot of releases at a steady cadence, and including things like the expansions for Starfield and the big expansion for Fallout 76 and Sea of Thieves, and like they're more ongoing projects. So there's going to be a lot of content at a high quality level and for like the known quantities. But then it's like hopeful that some of the new IP, South of Midnight, and a lot of the other games that they showed off, even some of the third party stuff, Fable, exactly. Like hopefully these things can like really hit. The Diablo 4 expansion, like there's a lot of software that Xbox has to play with that I feel is going to boost this number a lot, the 500 million. But is it going to be enough? That's always going to be the biggest question. And we won't know for a while. You know, it's like I feel like going to be at least another 2 years or so until we can kind of be able to reflect back on, did this phase of Xbox actually pay off? Or are we still going to be in a position where we're looking at it like, oh man, they were still waiting for things to hit and line up correctly?
And according to Tom Warren on Twitter from The Verge, just a quick little blurb in his article that he wrote, This is over the fiscal year 2024, but in Q1, Xbox hardware was down 7%. Q2 went up 3%, and that's the holiday quarter. Q3 down 31%. Q4 42%.
Yeah. We got some super chats. Remember, you can YouTube super chat to us about the stories we were talking about on the show. Tavin Bothell says, I'm not sure how Bungie becoming more inclusive to PlayStation is a good idea. It kind of feels like they're doubling down on the mistakes of the past. It's rough, man. And like, I don't know that there's a right answer. I personally feel like the more actual foundation level understanding of the teams and the projects and the bandwidth and resources people have, the better, when there is strong leadership that's actually like focused and looking at it all. And that's tough because there's a lot of this has to happen, this has to happen, these people need the skills for that to all be true. But I do think that consolidating in those ways, I think builds a potentially safer future for stronger teams and stronger ability to like maintain those teams and not have to deal with these issues, because it really does seem like a lot of these layoffs and a lot of these money problems that are happening, these financial issues, are from all the big wigs that don't actually care about the products, just trading stocks and trading places and assets. Assets is the right word here, to then eventually become more and more rich until they can just bounce the fuck out and not give a shit. It gets so high up and so rich that they are so far removed and there's so much middle management that they're just like, all right, y'all, we need to cut a bunch of shit. Y'all figure it out. And then that's what happens. There needs to be people that are actually like at the top that care about the video games and care about the people, right, and combining those things together to have the right people making the right games and protect them. But
the tweet that Barrett just brought up was, let's go live to kind of Grubby Games Daily. Brand new tweet from Jeff Grubb replying to his tweet thread about Herman Hulst running Bungie now and how they tried, putting more people into SIE when those numbers, and he thought the numbers were going to be higher, closer to 350. The follow-up tweet says, I'll put it as far as I know, which isn't everything by a long shot. In time, Bungie will lose its autonomy and become like any other PlayStation Worldwide studio under SIE and Herman Hulst. That's an exclusive Jeff Grubb tweet for you right there.
Right there.
Exclusive to us. He gave us a scoop on it.
Or whatever
Thank
it
you,
is.
Grubb, love you.
Talk about every reply. Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not surprised by it. And like, is it the right move? Is it the wrong move? I don't really know. But like, I do think that it was always bizarre that Bungie had the setup that it did. And I'm not a scientist. I'm out of my depths when I talk about a lot of this type of shit.
You don't need to be a scientist.
But all of us,
unless you're talking about space travelers,
all of us have looked at the games as a service stuff and live service stuff and been like, this doesn't seem like a good idea. And we've been proven wrong sometimes with things like Helldivers, but that is the one example that we've been proven wrong. Otherwise, it's like, oh man, layoffs and a lot of issues and a lot of problems like this. And when they first talked about how Bungie was going to be treated, I always thought that was weird. So I don't know that this is the right answer, but I feel like this is the inevitable answer if Bungie hasn't been able to get shit figured out. And they haven't.
Yeah, I think you're right, because it comes down to two different scenarios. Is it a right decision for Bungie, and is it a right decision for the bottom line? When I talk about Bungie, I mean the employees and being able to have less turnover and not deal with layoffs, because I agree with you. I thought it was a very odd situation how they were planning to operate sort of independently, but like kind of like us when we had our merch store through Rooster Teeth. It's like, no, we're not owned by Rooster Teeth, but we've kind of partnered with them on these different fronts, whether it's like ad sales and things like that. I always thought that was kind of interesting, but what they were trying to do has led to 330 layoffs since October of 2023. This may not be the right move, but it's hard to like say that being owned by Sony and being fully operated by Sony is a bad decision when we've already seen what they've done.
Now, to be clear, they were owned by Sony.
No.
Owned by PlayStation Studios.
Yeah. But now it's like, now with Herman Hulst sort of taking over, now it seems like, okay, you all had your fun. You had some successes, some failures, and you've laid off a lot of people. I know that's not their mentality of like, hey, I'm talking from me. What I'm hoping happens. I'm hoping that it's always scary whenever the overlords take over, but things haven't exactly been working out as they are right now. So something has to change.
I think that the Bungie acquisition is a sign of the times where when Bungie was acquired by Sony, that was during the back and forth conversations where every day was a headline of, is it going to stay multi-platform? And I think things have just changed so much that talking about it in 2024, it's like that just doesn't seem like that big of a deal, because like it could be a PlayStation Studios game could come to other consoles, and a Xbox Game Studios game could come to other consoles as well. Not every single one does, but like that's not as foreign a concept. Whereas back then, I feel like that move was almost made to not have it be weird that Destiny was still multi-platform. You know? So we'll see how it all shakes out. But yeah, the Yo Call Me Rob says Bungie might end up as Sony Washington by 2027. I think it'll remain Bungie. I don't think they're gonna change their name, but yeah, like I do think that like the intent of what you're saying there, I agree with. Devin Foreman says over 20,000 layoffs from this year and last year. 20,000.
A lot of people.
A lot of people. Very, very unfortunate. We are going to take a quick break for some sponsor reads, but when we get back, we're going to continue with some more news stories. This episode is brought to you by Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades that are built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers an unrivaled product that's just as good as any expensive pair that we've worn. Y'all know I've been outside a lot playing Pokemon Go, and it's been a great experience wearing my Shady Rays when I'm out and about looking dope. And that's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost or broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. You can wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after you purchase. Exclusively for y'all, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal. You can head to shadyrays.com and use code KINDAFUNNY for 50% off 2 or more pairs of shades. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Shadyrays.com, use code KINDAFUNNY for 50% off 2 or more pairs of shades. This episode is brought to you by Hims. Guys, sometimes intimate moments happen spontaneously, and we always want to be ready so we can perform in the bedroom. Hims has treatments that can help you stay hard and last longer, giving you that boost of confidence so you can be ready whenever the mood strikes. Hims is changing men's healthcare by providing access to affordable sexual health treatments, all from the comfort of your couch. Hims provides access to a range of doctor-trusted ED treatments, such as chewable hard mints, proven treatments like Viagra or Cialis, or their generics for up to 95% cheaper. No insurance is needed. Pay one low price for your treatments, online visits, ongoing shipments, and provider messaging. And the process is simple and 100% online, so no uncomfortable in-person visits necessary. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/kindafunny. That's HIMS.com/kindafunny for your personalized ED treatment options. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions, details, and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Good news! A new run of my children's book, Portillo the Wiener Dog Thinks He's a Manatee, is available for pre-order right now! Head over to kindafunny.com/store to snag one before the end of the week. And while you're there, pick up a few items from our Portillo merch line, including shirts, crew necks, and hats. Already got them? Grab them for your favorite best friend. Christmas is only 5 months away!
Story number 3, everybody. Discord for Xbox's latest update lets you watch Discord streams directly from your Xbox. This comes from Taylor Lyles at IGN. Nearly a year after Discord announced you can stream Xbox games directly on its platform, the popular instant messaging app announced today that a new update is rolling out to Xbox users. In a press release, the company confirmed that Xbox insiders will soon be able to access 3 new Discord features from Xbox Series X, Series S, and Xbox One. The most notable one is that Xbox owners can watch their friends' Discord streams directly on Xbox consoles, regardless of whether or not the friend is streaming their game on PC, mobile, or even another Xbox device. The other 2 new features include Xbox owners seeing additional information about their Discord friends directly from their Xbox console. Information such as mutual servers, friends, and their gamer tag will be visible when using Discord on Microsoft's 8th or 9th generation home gaming console. Got it. Lastly, the new update will allow users to call their Discord friends directly from their Xbox console without using a voice channel to initiate the conversation. I got caught up there a little bit because it said Microsoft's 8th or 9th generation home gaming console, and I got really mad because I was like, if you don't know which one it fucking
guessing.
is, just don't say it. Like, we don't need to do this, but then I realized, oh, it's the Xbox One and the series. Yeah, funny.
Now, if you're using this feature, I beg of you to not be like Roger and to get a microphone that we can understand and isn't cutting off every 5 seconds.
I don't want to talk shit. And honestly, this is just a stray that Roger just doesn't deserve. Because like out of all things, it's like I was just fucking interrupting stuff. But I was trying to get my setup at home ready for the Comic-Con announcements because I was going to stream, which I haven't done from my house before. I was like, I'm going to stream by myself. And so I was on Friday night before the Saturday night panel. I was like teching things out. And I was like, oh, fuck, I can't get my wavelength to get the Discord audio. I need to figure this out, but I need some audio from Discord. And I popped into the Kind of Funny Discord, and I saw that in one of the rooms, Mike and Roger were in there. And so I popped in to that room, and I was essentially just like, hey, is it cool if are y'all talking? What are y'all doing? Like, can I just use your audio? If not, I can just pop out. And Roger sounded so scared. And he's like, oh. It was like when you see a teacher outside of school, you know what I mean? But I'm like, Roger, it's me. like, what are you fucking talking about? But he was like, oh, I thought you want to do like a meeting or something. I'm like, no, it's like 6 p.m. Like, what do we? No. And like, I get that he was confused because like me popping into the Discord, pretty weird, you know? But all that's to say is Mike. What the fuck is happening, Raj? We have 1 million mics in this office. Like, take one.
We were playing Rivals the other day. It was me, Mike, Raj, and Bless. And Raj, Mike and Bless and me would be like, Roger, you sound like shit, dude. Are you broadcasting from like a submarine? And Roger would be like, okay, bitch. It was like we didn't hear any of that. you were cutting off the whole time. It was a great time.
Anyway, we got to get Roger a better mic. He's fucking awesome.
He was like, I'm using my HyperX. I'm like, from what year? What decade?
Jumping back though to the story real quick, I just want to say, and I'm sure that me saying this like is going to come with a lot of, oh, Tim, what about this and what about that? And remember when this happened? And I get it. I just want to give the biggest shout in the world to 2 different products, Discord and Audacity. 2, Audacity, the audio recording software that many of us have used our entire lives. This free program that you can just get that is so easy to use. So you just understand what's going on and you can just record stuff. You can mix stuff. You can export MP3s. You can export waves. You just learn a lot. You learn a lot about stuff, right? Discord to me, and people are shouting out OBS. Shout out to OBS as well.
Oh,
that is another amazing example of what I'm saying here, for sure. But what Discord has allowed, I mean, y'all know the stories about Kind of Funny. Like, without Discord, the pandemic home content would have not happened, like, period. But the flexibility and the updates that they do and the way that they have integrated into PlayStation and Xbox and now allowing watching gameplay streams and all this, it is so forward-thinking of looking at the now and trying to make products and enhancements to give the people what they actually want, and then to work and iterate on those projects to make a product that is honestly mind-blowing, magic, amazing. It is so impressive how well Discord works. And I know there's a lot of issues, and I know it doesn't always work perfectly, and I know every time you update it, there's 15 updates. Just say it's one update.
Yeah.
Why do I need to see it go 15 times? But those are the quibbles I have with Discord. Shout out to Discord. News like this and updates like this, I just think are the coolest freaking thing.
Yeah, and I think a lot of, especially what we just read right now, is them having this promise that we want to refocus on gaming. Because they were trying to get their little fingies in a bunch of different places, and maybe it just, I don't think they really saw a whole lot coming back for where they were trying to go into when it comes to, I think, partnerships with more like entertainment brands and things like that. I think now they're starting to kind of realize and they understand where their core audience is. Also, I just was thinking about like, I know it's been said a million times, but man, how badly Skype dropped the bag.
It's insane.
And like to hear like, 40,000 people doing a Zoom call with Kamala Harris. It's like, dude, that like Skype's got to be looking at this and being like, fucking
Skype
God
was
damn
the
it.
verb.
What did we do?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You didn't say video call. I'm going to Skype them.
That's so true.
It's wild, man.
That's so wild. Holy shit. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, it's just nuts, man. Like, can you imagine one day not saying, I'm going to YouTube that, and it being some other product?
Yeah. Bluebee. Yeah.
Everyone prepare for Bluebee. What's going to make Andy a bazillionaire?
Make that logo for me.
Bob's in the chat said, does Audacity let you slide clips around the timeline now? It does. It fucking does. Yeah. And it's a game changer.
Super sick.
Story number 4. Microsoft's new Xbox controller is more translucent than ever before. This comes from Tom Warren at The Verge. Oh, man. All I need to tell you, the Sky Cypher Xbox controller is available to pre-order today, priced at $70.
It's so hot.
And we just need to watch this reveal trailer because they didn't need to go this hard. Starting with the original Xbox boot-up screen, but it's all freaking blue.
It changes to blue. This thing is so fire. I want this. Let's see this trend start. We've seen so many hints at the trend starting again, like with their Forza Horizon 5 controller that they came out several years ago, where it was sort of a translucent sort of pea. It was like the piss-colored one, like very, very kind of amber-looking thing. And then we saw their 20th anniversary one, where it was kind of translucent black. And I keep on thinking we're gonna start to see the wave. Here we go, and it just sort of never caught on. Please let this be a sign for more things like this to come.
I agree, but at the same time, I don't need anything more. They fucking did it. They've given me exactly what I need. I talked about this last week when there was rumors that a translucent blue controller is coming out, and I was jokingly talking a lot of shit because Xbox is just out here. I'm convinced that the controllers are a drug front. There's no way that they have any reason to put this many controllers into the world. Right?
I'm convinced him that a rogue AI has gone loose at their factory and just is making these things without anybody's authority. You know,
there are probably more Xbox controllers than there are Pokemon, and that is a problem. But when they look this goddamn good, I really thought that there wasn't going to be a chance that I would ever buy another Xbox controller again. That wasn't an Elite that I wanted to buy for actually playing with. I'm buying this. There's not a chance in hell that
this is when you put up.
This is going in the theater. This is going in the theater. It's replacing another one. But like this is what I'm talking about, y'all. Magic, beauty, elegance,
grace.
Oh,
I will say,
now put some bumpers on it for
with the translucent stuff, right? I feel like if you're going to do translucent, the stuff inside has to look interesting and cool. And like I think this is just like the thing now with just modern controllers. Like the inside of the Xbox controller doesn't really look like interesting, you know?
Yeah,
I disagree. I don't need. Like I need what's inside to look complicated. I need there to be a lot of inner workings that look like there's a lot of stuff going. If it was just like only a flat, like silver sort of handle body piece, then I'd agree. But there's enough rivets and little interesting. Oh man, what did we call them in 3D modeling? I gotta look it up. It was like
Gerblers?
No, I gotta look it up. It was like a. Nernies or some shit. It's like when you were 3D modeling something, Tim, you'd buy
Greebles?
Yes, Greebles. Holy shit!
Wasted bandwidth dropping Greebles.
Yeah, you would download packs that would be Greebles, and what Greebles are just like hardware, like this right here on this desk. This would be Greebles.
Okay,
you have a 3D model. You're making a hard surface something, and you would pick this bolt and drag that Greeble on. You would pick this little lining, and it would be like a panel sci-fi lining. So you wouldn't be modeling that yourself. You would just kind of it's a PNG that has alpha data into it. So it kind of digs into the 3D model. And yeah, like the fact that there's enough.
Wasted bandwidth. I summoned that from the ether, man.
There's enough Greeblin. There was enough Greeblin on there that I thought it was doing a good enough job.
That's some good Greeblin. I agree.
Nernies. It was Greebles and Nernies.
Shut up. That's not real.
Greg, do you hear this?
Greebles and Nernies. Greebles and Nernies coming to fucking Peacock.
Motherfuckers talking about Narnia shit.
Look. See, look, Greebles and Nernies, and there's also Fugits, Gundans, and Dunsels, but Nernies and Greebles are the ones that I know of, because the packs were called Nernies and Greebles, and it's the surface of objects, and it's all like the little panel lines you see on the Millennium Falcon and all that stuff, the stuff that makes it look sci-fi and mechanical. Greebles and Nernies.
Holy crap.
Greebles
I've
and
learned
Nernies.
so much today. This is definitely an alternate universe moment where I don't believe any of that. You know what I mean? This is wild.
I'm just saying, like, it's cool to see like essentially like a motherboard.
You want a motherboard
inside the controller.
I don't need a green motherboard. Grossing up my viewpoint of this purple controller.
Well, motherboards don't have to be green.
And just look how like empty the little
whole
tentacles
handles are.
That's
you
fair.
know?
That's
Yeah.
fair.
Here's my thing. If you can go back to the Xbox controller.
There's
y'all-
enough Greeble and Nernies there.
There's these Greebles are nerdy, man. Y'all know a lot of things about me. I love blue. I love OLED. And there's another thing that I feel like at this point in my life I need to just come clean with that I am equally a fucking psycho for, and it's haptics. I really love haptics. You guys hear me talk about
You
haptics
do.
all the time. And
Seeing them is cool.
seeing the fucking
Seeing the haptics is
just
cool.
seeing the rumble, the vibration things, man. I'm like, that's all that I fucking need to like
It's
get me
really cool.
get me greebling. You know what I'm talking
You're selling
about?
me more on it.
So yeah, I want this thing. I want this thing for sure. Moving on to story number 5. EA College Football 25 used AI to make all 11,000 players' faces. I don't even want to read this story. This sucks. You know what I mean, Andy? You look at a fucking story and you're just like, why? Like, why? What value is going to come from these fucking decisions being made? This is just nonsense bullshit. Last year, Electronic Arts CEO Andrew Wilson said AI would help the publisher unlock the holy grail of game development. Now he's confirmed the company's already used it to make its latest sports blockbuster, EA College Football 25. Creating 150 unique stadiums and over 11,000 player likenesses couldn't be done without EA's deep history of being a technology leader and by our incredibly passionate and talented teams harnessing the power of AI and machine learning to deliver truly amazing entertainment. Wilson said this on an earnings call. For those that don't track our industry or track our sports games in particular, we typically in any given year will develop about 500 to 1,000 star heads inside one of our games. And over the course of a platform generation, through the hand tooling of that, we ultimately fill out the full roster of star heads in our games. And of course, there were ebbs and flows in that.
And this is what we need to talk about because this is not the AI that we don't like.
Yes.
This is it comes from the tweet from Chuge on Twitter, Daniel Ahmad, who talks about this is not generative AI. This is not generative AI that is just kind of creating and scraping data from the internet. This is internal machine learning AI that is working off of things that this studio has done in the past and using their character creator to then. It's similar to like how every character you see in Dragon's Dogma 2 is using the creative player. And different other games use that where it's like our character creator is the basis for every NPC you see in the world, and it kind of like will randomize things here and there. And that's mainly what this is talking about here. But that AI term is used to get people horny.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, we see money here. Wow, this popular NCAA game is using AI. And a lot of it is buzzword. A lot of it is these people on these earnings calls who don't give a fuck about video games, but just care about if their, great grandkids will have billions of dollars in their bank account while the world's burning. They're totally like, they hear that AI word and that's all they need to hear. That
That's it. Yeah.
Hey, we've seen doom and gloom about AI. There's some hope here in AI. And I think that's mainly what this is here.
I mean, the biggest thing to your point is like, this isn't stealing from others. It's using their own things. Like it's using assets that they own, that they have created, that they have whatever. So
Right.
it's like, that is the good side. The bad side of this though is the intent. Like is the where they're going back at the beginning of talking about how
Dog, why can't I fucking look at Kotaku without the Roots website popping up? Holy shit.
the roots.
The Roots keeps on interrupting me.
What's the roots?
This website called The Root. It's like a thing on their website that just like interrupt. Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, yeah, this is we'll see where this path ends. You know what I mean? But EA, not a group that I necessarily trust when it comes to the combination of tech and money.
Well, everything Andrew Wilson has said prior to this has made you read this title and go, "Oh
This is
shit,
bad. Yeah.
here we go." We've seen Andrew Wilson say a myriad of things regarding AI, and not essentially using every word except the word replace the workforce.
Yeah.
And so that, I initially had the scaries kind of pop into my body, but this is the stuff that I think makes a lot more sense. Like when we see the Into the Spider-Verse animator showing, hey, we used AI to tell to put where the comic book lines would be on Miles Morales depending on what angle he's facing, and that's very different than, hey, we typed in a prompt and said create a man, and it just created a thing from art from all over the world. Which, by the way, I've been hearing more and more about, like, sort of stuff regarding MKBHD and all of his YouTube stuff.
Fascinating.
So insane.
And my favorite thing about all this, for people that don't know, like, you should definitely look into the MKBHD AI. Just YouTube that. There'll be a lot of resources that are very entertaining and very informative. But essentially, there are different AI companies that have either been caught or explicitly saying that they are scraping YouTube videos from major popular creators, including MKBHD
and Mr. Beast
and like all these like huge groups out there, and they're straight up admitting that they're stealing their stuff to train their AI, which is like, this is like the definition of the problem with all this. But they're also stealing from Nintendo. And everyone's like,
they didn't know who they were fucking with.
Like, hey, Nintendo, look at them. And
it's
like,
only a matter of time, man.
They didn't know. And that's the crazy thing about this. It's like, I'm not going to go on too much of a tangent, but you will only ever see shit get done if it affects the rich people. And this is going to affect rich people. And I think we will see a lot of measures being taken.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of excites me, you know?
How big do you think those measures are going to be, Andy?
Man, probably pretty big, Tim.
Yeah, but if I was looking for something small, like the smallest little news stories, where would I look?
You would look at the We News channel, where we cover all the small news items you need to know about.
What's the difference
4 out of
between
10.
What's the difference between a good and bad We News transition? You know what I mean? I don't know. I just don't know myself.
I thought it was good. I thought it was great.
You. I appreciate you.
Best of the week.
From Noble here, SpongeBob SquarePants, the Patrick Star game listing appears at an online retailer listed for Xbox, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch, coming October 4th. Barrett?
It's just a dark walking simulator, just like really introspective.
I'm going to take a guess that this is not going to be like a Battle for Bikini Bottom spiritual successor. So
Got it.
I have absolutely no interest in whatever this is.
This PlayStation Plus monthly games for August are Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, Ender Lilies, Quietus of the Nights.
Ender Lilies is the game that I brought up when we were talking about indie Metroidvanias.
Okay.
Ender Lilies is a very popular game. The first one came out like several years ago, and this is the sequel to it. And everybody, they are these games that like always get insanely good ratings on Steam, and it's always like very positive, overwhelmingly positive. Adam Cole loves them. Adam Cole loves Ender Lilies.
Okay, cool.
And it's always one that I've been wanting to try out because it's very Hollow Knight-ish with its boss fights. Got a cool art style, really, really tough boss fights, interesting world design. And it's one that I definitely want to try out one day. I promise I will. This will be a Steam Deck game for sure.
I mean, it could be a PlayStation Plus game for you.
Oh, wowie.
Yeah. Dead Cells is getting its final update on August 19th. What a run. The end is near. And then, y'all, I can't believe what I'm about to say. Arrow the Acrobat 2 is coming to Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch this year.
Is he gonna be putting out human vibes this time?
I don't know.
They're just gonna make him look like a dude.
Andy, me and you have been through a lot together.
They need to we need to get that stricken from the record.
From history. I honestly think that was one of the low points of humanity. Kind of funny game showdown. Watch the drawing episode.
I'm just saying.
Ready to get
Greg drew two things that Blessing and Raj didn't know what they were, and then he explained it, which was illegal. You can't explain. Fucking Christ.
I don't want to start anything, but like I do remember that day, like after Game Showdown, maybe the three of them went to lunch together. Who paid for that lunch? Who knows?
Wow.
Dang, dude.
Wowie.
We got some super chats for you. We got Samson L saying, so many boomers at our workplace, we still use Skype.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect anything less.
At the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if Skype didn't exist.
Teams.
Oh, is it Teams
Microsoft
now?
Teams is one of the other ones.
I fucking hate Teams.
No, Skype still exists, but Teams is like their corporate-y type one.
I don't like Teams. Gary the Third says, give me translucent Elite controller. That's what I'm saying, man. That would be really nice.
Please.
I want that controller, but like
I want
Elite
back
version.
paddles.
I
Put
want
back paddles in
paddles.
everything.
For reals, though.
Give me a back paddle.
Madognick96 says, rank console startup graphics. That sounds like an excellent GAMESCAST that I'm sure at some point we will get to. I'm a big fan of startup graphics. You see that video that went around last year or so that was like transitioning like every single game startup screen?
No. That sounds super sick.
I'm going to try to find it because it's really freaking cool. And then Bander SN says, yo, Tim, are we starting a KF Marvel Snap Alliance? They just launched the new guild feature in the game. I'd love to join a KF team. As I've been saying many times, I've stepped away from Snap. I had to do it for my mental and physical health. It's been almost a year now that I haven't played the game.
Very brave of you.
The Deadpool and Wolverine stuff, they kept notifying me. I turned notifications off on Marvel Snap on my phone, but somehow they broke the fourth wall and got through, and they kept notifying me, and they kept showing me cards, and I was like, I need these fucking cards. But I held strong, and I didn't go back. I will return to Marvel Snap one day. Today is not that day.
Speaking of Marvels, speaking of Marvel, like, if you would have told me my second most played game this year would be a multiplayer Overwatch clone called Marvel Rivals, god dang, I can't stop playing this freaking game, dude.
I love that.
It
Very
is so
excited
good.
for you. That's all of the super chats we have. You're wrong here. We got... I'm going to read this just because I just think there's nothing that we could have said that this relates to. Oh, this might have been from yesterday. But Insari Rotana says Japan's 3 hours ahead of Cambodia.
Perfect.
I can't even think of anything yesterday.
This is probably something. This is probably something Greg was talking. Oh wait, this is your wrong. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
I was thinking this is like a super chat.
And then Kebabs just dropped some stuff that I'm going to read here. Greebles or
Nernies.
you can spell Greebles different ways. Originate from ILM making models detailing for the original Star Wars. One part, a dome with a pipe on it, is known as the Universal Greeble because of how frequently it's used. For The Force Awakens, many Greebles were recreated in 3D for the modelers making new assets. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Fun little facts.
Put those all, and then you would see like the amateurs in your ZBrush 3D class that would, their sci-fi fucking little things were just greebled to all hell. It's like, god damn, dude. You really thought this was going to make it look better. You don't know anything about moderation. Unbelievable.
Hold on. Let's see if I can find this mashup video in one quick second.
I'm going to keep reading about Greebles and Nernies.
This isn't the one, but this is pretty cool. I'm going to send it to assets.
I have this one video of Dragon Ball Z intro I'm sending to Barrett as well. We're just sending.
We have another show to do.
We're just sharing videos. Check out this. I'm sending a video to Barrett. This is a Rush playing 2112 in Rio de Janeiro. It's so sick. The crowd is going nuts. Oh, okay. This is fire. Good. That's an underrated one.
Oh, yeah. That was cool. The weed channel. He was sick.
Fire.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Ah, Steve, nice.
No, that's good, man.
That's good. So that wasn't the one. I sent another one that I'm pretty sure this is the one I was talking about.
It better be so hype. We do not have 20 minutes to listen to 2112. Big. Chill out, okay? Incredible experience.
Oh, that was fucking insane. Whoa.
It's a pretty talented editor right here. Fucking fire.
That's crazy.
We should have taken edibles.
We're going on a fucking journey.
Whoa.
Oh, wow. That's Dreamcast right there for the audio listeners.
Jesus Christ.
What's this?
I don't feel.
Oh. And not a whole lot of continuity, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the other one more, honestly.
I don't feel like I needed to take edibles. I feel like I'm on edibles.
I can't believe it's still going. Okay. The beginning was awesome.
Yeah, the beginning was awesome. Very
So cool. Well, everybody, we're about to do the kind of funny GAMESCAST. It's going to be a real fun one. If you enjoyed the video that we just watched going through the history of console startups, you're going to love our super fun, I'm sure, absolutely civil conversation where we are going to rank handhelds by looks and looks alone. This has been Games Daily. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.